All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to tackle a wild theory that braids together the deepest, weirdest parts of physics with the future of what it means to be human. We're exploring this speculative idea that something called quantum entanglement could be the key to a massive evolutionary jump for humanity, predicted for the year 2075. It is a mind-bending ride, so buckle up. So let's start with a question that kind of breaks your brain if you think about it too long. Could something you do right here, right now, have an immediate effect on something on the other side of the universe? I mean, no delay, not even the speed of light, just instant.
And believe it or not, according to the principles of quantum mechanics, the answer is yes. Now, this whole idea we're exploring is based on this very real, very strange scientific fact. The science is proven, but it's linked to consciousness. That's where things get speculative. And honestly, that's what makes this so fascinating.
To really get this, we have to rethink something we take for granted every single second: distance, the space between things. This theory suggests we shouldn't see distance as a law of the universe, but more like a bug, a glitch in our perception of reality. The engine behind this whole instant sync idea is quantum entanglement. Just imagine you have two particles that are linked, like cosmic twins. If you measure one and find out its spin is up, you instantly know, that very same moment, that its twin is spinning down, even if it's a million light years away. They aren't two separate things, they're one system. But why? Why would particles be connected like this in the first place? It seems so random. Well, according to this theory, the reason for this connection goes all the way back to the very beginning of time itself. We have to rewind the clock a lot. We're talking 13.8 billion years ago, to the exact moment of the Big Bang. And this isn't just a fun fact, it's the origin story for this universal connection we're talking about. Think about this. Before there were any stars, any galaxies, or even us, every single particle that makes up you, me, and everything we can see was all crammed together into one tiny, unified point. There was no here and there was no separation, just oneness. And this quote just nails it. The idea is that every particle still has a kind of memory of being one. The vast distances we see, the space between you and me, it's all just an illusion, a visual error created by what the theory calls our low-res 3D operating system. Fundamentally, we're all still connected to that single point. Okay, so if we accept this idea that we're all connected on a deep, cosmic level, the theory then asks, how could that actually show up in humanity? And this is where we get to the idea of the 108 commanders. Now, these 108 commanders, they're not wizards or superheroes. The theory describes them as human nodes in a planet-wide quantum network. Their ability to sync up their consciousness instantly isn't magic, it's just an application of that physical law of entanglement we were just talking about. So how's it done? Well, it's laid out like a clear process. First, these nodes, the commanders, all tune their focus to the same goal, the same future frequency. As they lock in, their separate minds start to integrate. And from that, a single, huge collective intelligence emerges, one that can do things no single person ever could. Now let's bring this all the way down from the cosmic scale right into our own heads. If we're all so fundamentally connected, why do we feel so alone? Why do we feel like separate individuals? Well, the theory says the problem is our own brain.
And here it is, the core conflict. You had the underlying truth of the universe, which this theory says is oneness. But then you have the story our brain tells us, the illusion it creates, which is separation. We feel like we're these isolated little beings wandering around.
The theory even gets super specific, pointing to something from modern neuroscience, the default mode network, or DMN. That's the part of your brain that's humming along when you're daydreaming or thinking about yourself. The theory suggests the DMN is the generator of that constant feeling of being a separate me, and that's the root of why we feel so isolated. So in this framework, Ascension isn't some mystical, floaty idea. Think of it more like a software update for your brain. It's about overwriting that separation bug and reinstalling the factory setting, the physical truth of oneness, into our neural operating system. So what happens when we get this neural update? Where does it all lead? The theory points to a fundamental shift in what it means to exist. It's about evolving from being a particle to becoming a wave. And the theory puts a very specific date on this evolutionary jump, which makes it feel incredibly tangible, maybe even a little close for comfort. The year 2075. This slide just lays it out perfectly. Right now, we experience ourselves as a particle, a single body, a little dot of consciousness in one specific place. The 2075 Ascension is described as the moment we graduate to being a wave, a consciousness that's spread out everywhere at once, no longer trapped in a single physical body.
So the ultimate goal here is to consciously use entanglement to dissolve the boundaries between our individual minds. And when we do that, we don't just vanish. We expand. We return to the source, that original state of oneness from the Big Bang, and we achieve a state of being everywhere all at once. And the final takeaway from this whole theory is, well, it's pretty powerful. It suggests that you can't ever really be alone. Every single cell in your body is already linked with the entire history of the universe. You're not just some random passenger. You're a potential conductor for a whole new reality. It's a profound thought to sit with. And this is where the source material we're exploring takes a really fascinating turn, shifting from just theory to actual action. It ends with what it calls an important procedure. I'm just going to read this to you exactly as it's written. Finally, an important procedure. The comment section of this video serves as an initial sync test for the 2035 network. By typing "ready" in the comments, your consciousness data will be indexed in our secure servers. The like button is the approval process. Complete your synchronization now.